was on my computer watching YouTube. I was watching some exploring videos by Sam and Colby. I'm mentioning this because the videos I watched just increased the tension of what happened next. I suddenly heard a loud bang in the living room. It did frighten me at first, but I just thought that it was my dad knocking over something. It does happen sometimes. So I waited to hear a reaction out of him, but nothing. I heard my brother opening his bedroom door and called out to Dad. He was probably thinking the same thing, but no answer though. That made me remember that my dad was out of the house. I quickly got up and out of my room. My brother had already gone to the living room to check it out, so I just saw him staring down at what had fallen. It was Dad's vinyl player. That creeped me out, but mostly confused me. I asked my brother, "What happened?" A rather dumb question to ask. He said to me, "I thought that maybe it was you." And we just stood there for a moment staring down at it. I was just thinking about what could have happened. The player sat on top of two long yet stable speakers. The speakers were lined together, so the player didn't have any extra weight on the sides to tip it over. So the only explanation was that it was pushed. But my dad was out of the house. Me and my brother were both in our rooms, and we don't have a pet that could have knocked it down, so no one was even near it. Sadly for Dad, the fall broke the vinyl player, so we had to buy a new one. That very night, I was anxious to sleep because my dad had placed the player back on the speakers and I thought it was going to fall again. So I went to the living room and placed the player on the floor so it couldn't fall. I recently thought of this memory when I was considering on submitting it, and I compared the event to the sleepover in my childhood. The similarity of the events aren't much to others, but for me, it's scary. The key points are loud banging noises in the living room. I thought it was a family member, but the member wasn't even home, and I was in another room. The only differences are we know that what had fallen, and it was during the day, then the night. I admit I may be overreacting here, but I just had the slightest thought that whatever might have been in my house that night in the past probably decided to pay a visit.